Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today's January 12th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. Got the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left here. You can see the Kona low. It's known as a cutoff low here that kind of spins near the Hawaiian Islands. It can bring some deep moisture up over the islands. It can also bring some subtropical moisture up ahead of it and into the west coast, and that is what's going to be happening with this next storm system here. And you can kind of see it developing off the coastline here. It's going to move into the Oregon coast, and it's going to swoop down across California, bring another nice round of mountain snow, some gusty winds, but it's not a big precipitation maker for most areas, Bay Area southward here across Southern California. But we'll look at those details as we go. Then we're going to take a look at the extended forecast. It looks like we might return to a warmer, wetter southwest flow here, but there's still some big model disagreement on how that's going to unfold. You can see Eureka, California, getting prepared for that heavy rain that'll be incoming here. So watch out, you run into those roadways with the water over it. Be careful because some of the roadway can be washing out. Never drive into water covered roads. You can see we have that flood watch here for a lot of Northern California, north of the Bay Area, and there's the winter storm warnings in effect for Northern California. You can see the Sierra Nevada included there. Got some freeze warnings for chilly temperatures this morning across some of the valley areas, and winter weather advisories elsewhere as we speak. And look across some of Nevada, winter weather advisory. Actually, a blizzard warning out there right now, along with some winter storm warnings. Also, it's this pretty chilly Arctic air masses sagging across some of the western USA. Now, taking a look at the heavy snow expected again from tonight, Friday night, January 12th through 4 a.m. Sunday. You can see 1 to 2 feet above 4,500 feet in the warning area, and that's the pink, and 48 inches above 3,000 feet in the advisory area, and that's the blue here. Actually, that's the winter storm watch. The purple here is the winter weather advisory. So we got big winds incoming here, and winds is gusts as high as 50 miles per hour, and probably even higher across the ridge tops and some of the higher peaks out there as well. And snow levels will be rising to 4,000 to 6,000 feet by Saturday. So, of course, typical impacts here, and we'll go over some of the past snow expected here in a moment. You can see all the way down towards Hanford, California, you got winter weather advisories all the way down through the southern Sierra Nevada here, and the winter storm warnings for areas further north here. And this goes again from 10 p.m. this evening until 10 a.m. Sunday morning. Here we are looking at Interstate 80. You can see Donner Pass, big snow expected incoming here. This was issued yesterday afternoon. You can see King Vale right there. And you can see when you get to the lower elevations, of course, lesser amounts, 2 to 6 inches for Truckee. And you can see 108 here. You can see some pretty good amounts here. Sonora Pass, 14 to 26 inches here. Pretty prolific snowmaker incoming. You can see Highway 50 and the Echo Summit here, 6 to 15. And you can see I-5, much more uncertain amounts here. There's some higher amounts showing up, but you can see Mount Shasta City between 1 to 11. Not much hope in the forecast there, but we'll look at the weather models here in a moment. And this is that Elko, Nevada National Weather Service out there. So heads up if you were out across northeast Nevada here for some of the blizzard warnings and winter storm warnings. Go ahead and click on that NOAA.gov here and check things out if you need more detailed information there. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station to record all this crazy weather we get here along the west coast of the USA, click on that link down below to save 10% off. It stores all the data for you in the cloud. Highly recommend this station. Now, taking a look at the North American model, hot off the presses here, the high resolution model. You can see California is there. If we put this into motion and we start to go into very late tonight, and you can see the snow start flying across Northern California and eventually across the Sierra Nevada. And as we go through tomorrow morning, that snow is going to become heavy at times on and through the early afternoon. You see some pretty good rainfall amounts. Again, the flood watch in effect for areas in Northern California, bringing a rainy day across the Bay Area as we go through the afternoon and evening on Saturday. They can continue to step front, move south, but you'll notice it doesn't get too far past Point Conception here and not showing a lot of precipitation for Southern California with this round. So the main benefits of this are some rainfall down towards the Bay Area and some heavy mountain snows across the Sierra Nevada. Now, taking a look at the wind, this is 80-meter wind speed. I'll put this into motion. You can see we're in a little bit of a lull right now, but that's going to quickly come to an end as we go through tonight. And you can kind of see actually by this afternoon, it starts picking up across the Sierra Nevada out of the west, and that's going to continue off and on here as we go through the weekend. You can clearly see the frontal system really pick up those winds as we go through Saturday afternoon and evening as well, as the frontal system moves down past the Bay Area here, and some gusty west-northwest winds all the way down through some of the Southern California higher terrain, all the way down into some of the desert areas as well as that cold front swoops down, but it doesn't bring too much precipitation, again, as I mentioned, across Southern California. And this is 500 millibars here. So if I put this into motion, you'll see the next storm system start rolling in here as we go through the day Saturday. And you notice it's kind of that inside slider thing going on here where it's just not bringing the great dynamics down towards Southern California there. And you can see that's the system move off to the east. Now, looking at the European versus the GFS has actually been trending a little bit quicker with the system and a little bit stronger. As you can see, starts bringing some of that snow across the Sierra Nevada a little bit earlier versus the European. This is last night's run, by the way, but pretty good model agreement overall with some good snowfall amounts across the Sierra Nevada and big rains mainly north of the Bay Area. But some of the models are showing a pretty rainy day as we go through Saturday afternoon and on into the evening hours. And then you can see the frontal system passing on both models there as well. And then you can clearly see it losing its punch as it moves down towards Southern California here as we go on into the day Sunday. Now, looking at the national blend of models, just kind of giving you guys a heads up on what's coming as far as snowfall. You can see some of the big amounts across some of the higher terrain here in Northern California and all the way down the Sierra Nevada. So it's going to bring another nice round of snow to the Sierra Nevada, as you saw in some of those totals. Now, looking at the European on the left versus GFS on the right, this extended forecast look here, you can see the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left. There's California, Arctic front sagging south across the Pacific Northwest. Put this into motion, and you can see that storm system move in underneath that Arctic high, and that is our next storm system there. So you see that move through and sag south and then weaken. And then we got some big model discrepancies starting to show up here as the European shows some moisture moving it back into California as we go on in through next week. But you see the GFS much further offshore here, and big differences would be felt across California here. As you can see, another round of precip for California and the European, but not on the GFS. And you can kind of see the ridging building here, and the European is just pretty robust with throwing systems back into California, and the GFS not having much of it, but it does have another Arctic high sagging south across British Columbia, but that's way off in Fantasyland. We're not going to worry about that. As you can see, the European pretty darn right stormy here, and so this has got some big model disagreement to work out over the next few days. That should be fun to watch. Now, looking at the national blend of models on what is upcoming here, and if you look as we go through the day Saturday, you can see some bigger amounts getting right down towards the Bay Area and some of the Central Coast, a bit bigger amounts across the Sierra Nevada, and of course Northern California is going to get pretty hard, and that's why the flood watches are up for that area. So you can kind of see where the cutoff of that precipitation is going to be as we go through this weekend. And looking at wave heights here, we still have some elevated wave heights as we go through the day today, but that's quickly waning. We get a little bit of a break, then we bump things up again here, mainly Bay Area north. This is nothing like what we have been getting here, and then we get a bit of a break as we go through the early and mid portion of next week. And then you can see the European wants to start to kick things up again here as we go through the extended forecast, and Pacific Ocean gets a bit more active, but plenty of time to worry about that as we go. Here we're looking at daily 2-meter min temperatures, and you can see as we go through Saturday morning, again, still pretty chilly out there, especially in some of the wind sheltered areas and even down to Southern California and down into the low 40s for some areas. And we start to modify things and bounce back here and potentially warm things up as we go through the week, especially as we get towards the end of next week here, kind of modifying things across much of the West. And we'll continue to watch for that Southwest warmer pattern setting up. And this is looking at that 6 to 10 day temperature probability, goes all the way through January 21st here on the Climate Prediction Center, and check it out, starting to get some increased odds of that southwest flow returning and above average temperatures to much of the west and the southwest. 8 to 14 day goes all the way out through January 25th, and this is precipitation. And again, they're kind of probably hedging a bit towards the European model here, but we got plenty of time to watch that and see if the models come to some agreement on when that moisture might return back into California. This is also looking at the snow water equivalent across some of the Sierra Nevada, and it's bouncing back a little bit here, and this next storm will help also, but hopefully we can get the storms continuing to come in here, because you can see we are below average, and 100% would be average. So you can see we're clearly in the 50s and 60s, and even in some cases quite a bit below that here across the Sierra Nevada. So hopefully we can continue to bring some of that moisture in here as we go through the next few weeks. And this is taking a look at the Pacific North American Oscillation. If we're in negative territory here, we got the troughs moving through and kind of impacting. The inside slider is more cooler of a pattern here across the west coast. But you can see as we go back into positive territory, once we go on into what is this January 18th, 19th, 20th, we start to bring maybe that southwest flow back here, and the European ensembles are actually showing that, and some of the GFS is showing that as well. If you look at the Canadian, it also shows it there also. So anyway, something to look forward to there. We'll continue to monitor that, of course, in the daily briefings. But anyway, yeah, hope you guys are liking these videos. Get prepared for that storm. It's going to be rolling in here as we go through tonight into tomorrow. Pretty high impacts across the Sierra Nevada. Watch out for the flooding, and watch out for some of those chilly temperatures out there as well. Also watch out for the big winds if you're going back and forth across the pass areas. I mean, there's going to be some blowing snow, pretty crazy weather going on back and forth across the Sierra Nevadas here as we go through Saturday, especially Saturday night. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. We'll do this again tomorrow. We'll check out the extended forecast and see what's coming, try to break things down and get some model agreement. And I will talk to you guys then.